Mhm.
Welcome to the podcast Tantric Leadership. My name is Anja and I'm your host. And today I welcome Pujan and Betty as my beautiful guests, and they will share with you some wisdom about their relationship, their way through yoga and tantra to more pleasure in their lives and their sexuality. And I would love to start with one intro question. What was the wildest love experience for you in your life?
Oh,
Okay, now I have to clarify this. A love experience, or you mean a sex experience? I
Oh,
mean,
that's two different things. Start with the love experience first, please.
um, we have to cut this, Anja.
Okay, we cut this.
Love is not an experience. Love is your very being. You can only have an experience of something that arises and disappears. Love is not something that arises and disappears. It's not that. Yeah, I mean, there's an experience maybe of beauty or of.
Okay, then let's start. I will ask you to just share some sentences about yourself, like Pujan and Betty, and then I will ask another question. Okay?
Yeah.
So I invite you.
Okay.
yeah,
You start. Okay.
Yeah, I invite you to share just a few sentences about yourselves, Pujan and Betty, please.
You can start.
Okay. About myself, well, when I met Pujan, I never ever imagined that he would be the man I would spend the rest of my life with. And about myself, I would say that you, Pujan, would be the only man I had a very long relationship with. Before, I had relationships, but not in that depth. So I could really say I found my soulmate.
Well, now that we're sitting here, she is dressed in orange and I'm dressed in white. It was quite the opposite when we met.
Huh?
41, 42 years ago. What was 41
Yeah,
years?
true, yeah.
It was very different. I was in orange and she had just some very nice clothing on because she came out of the synagogue on a festival. So we were so far apart. And none of her friends and none of in my spiritual group I was in, were thinking that we could be a couple. So for all of you who think, the man or the woman I know or I love, but they're so different and they're so strange, it can still happen. So we were really coming from very different backgrounds. So that's where I want to start with. Next question. I mean, where do we go from here?
So I just want to summarize what you said. So you shared, both of you, that when you met, it wasn't this kind of crazy love of the first sight, and I'm mad in love, and I have to spend my life with this person. I can't live without that person, right? You met, and there was a curiosity to get to know each other better. Is that correct?
Yes, curiosity is.
It was, but we were very easy with each other. We were in each other's lives and very close without defining us as a couple or even planning a future together.
In fact, when we met just 1 or 2 months and then she had to go back to her parents, that was all in Australia. And she came back and visited me in the spiritual center. I said to her, you're not ready to be with me right now. You still are so worldly. Go back to these beautiful men you fancy with a big sports car, because I'm a spiritual seeker. I don't have anything, You go back, have some fun, and when you're ready, you can come back. And I lived in a small little caravan in the bush. I mean, really, nothing fancy. And she liked the higher, better life. Exactly.
I understand.
You understand, yes. But then in the middle of the night, after 3-4 weeks, at sort of midnight, there was a knock on the door, and in my small little caravan, and I opened it, and there she was, and that was it. So I gave her the freedom to prepare, basically, and then she decided on her own, well, I do a step down to this poor little spiritual man who lives in the caravan, in the spiritual center too. I mean, she didn't know any spiritual center. It was a transpersonal
Holotrophic.
transpersonal psychology center in the Blue Mountains, Sydney.
Mhm.
So it was quite courageous of her, but it was her decision, and I gave her the total freedom to either come or not come. So we started our relationship really from the point of freedom.
That's very
Allowing-
beautiful.
Yeah, allowing each other to do that what we both really wanted. So in our life, it was not that the ideal time. When is the ideal time? I wasn't ready to move from Sydney into the mountains, into the Blue Mountains, because I just had a job landed and it was all good, and I really enjoyed my life in Sydney as such. But I gave it up, and from then on, life started with ups and downs to become better. I must admit.
Well, the way I want to bring across here is that when you start a relationship, you don't always, or you don't have to always have the same interests, the same ideas how life should be lived. It can be quite complementary in our life, and it still is very complementary. Because people don't, in essence, change, even though we would like to change the other person, but good luck. The traits, their personality, their uniqueness remains. And even now, after all these years together, I'm still very much on the spiritual path, you might say.
Where I'm on the social and what's the humanitarian? So I go out and I'm the worldly part, and I always bring him back. Even yesterday here in the holy part of Tiruvannamalai, I always find the fun things to do in life. And he could sit the first couple of years, he would sit in meditation, and I very, very much wanted to go out. And I mean, I was only 23, 24, I went up. So, we allowed each other to do that and met in the middle. And I think that was the secret.
The complementary aspect of it. And of course, if you are complementary, you have to really accept the other as they are. And that wasn't very well, because we were so far apart, and we were young too, but we accepted that. And then as another sort of challenge, of course, I was a Osho sannyasin. I was dressed in orange. I was very much committed to my path, and Betty wasn't. So I slowly brought her onto the spiritual path as well. She never had the same passion and commitment than I have, but like I said, it was complementary. She surrendered to it, and we could travel together. Now, I want to add to this that, as I said in another podcast, we created Tantra Vision together, where Betty very much helped me. And
Tantra Vision is a Tantra school for all listeners.
Sorry,
The first one in Australia.
First one in Australia. It started
registered and giving out certificates and all
1986 till
a little bit later, I think 1986, 1988, something like that.
Till
I
the end.
don't remember.
Yeah, and there she helped me as well, to some degree that other would find very humorous. I think, we made videos, of course, and there she was, in her natural beauty with other men. And I said, as long as I hold the microphone, that is not a problem, So our attitude towards sensuality was always relatively relaxed.
Yeah.
So when I understand you right, I just want to summarize one or two things you have said. So one of the main keys I heard was to really give you both the freedom to be who you are and to achieve what you want to achieve in life, and to just support the other one in that, right? And then what you just shared was you allowed as well sensual or sexual experiences with other people.
Yes,
with exact boundaries.
Yes.
So they were, in this case, I was with a man in front of a camera to promote Tantra Vision as a school. So I wasn't in a relationship with that man. But on the other hand, when he shared that I was still in Sydney, yes, especially in the early 80s, there was so much sexual freedom, even in relationships. And that got very messy. Of course, you could be jealous. But in our case, it was not always easy, but we allowed each other. And as more as we allowed each other to move with other partners, as less we did it.
Yes, that's true. But it is, just to be clear,
that's interesting.
It's still, there's a painful element in it. We are humans, but it is, when we talk about Tantra, it is actually looking into our own possessiveness. And why do we have a right? Why do I have a right that this human being only has to be sensual with me? In fact, something else works. Giving her the permission to be, when she wants to be with another man, is giving her freedom. And who doesn't want to have freedom? Who doesn't want to know, well, I can enjoy this and I can come back and it's okay. And actually, the love for the partner, if you're the partner who went with somebody else and you come back, is even stronger. What a great person I have. He allows me this. So there's no cheating. There's no hiding the fact, And I'm not saying it was always painless and
or rosy.
Yeah. But it actually really worked.
It worked as long as you were telling the truth.
Yeah.
But from a tantric point of view, is as a female, I always wanted to know what happened, every detail, and wanted to feel the superior woman from the male point of view. Do what you want, but don't tell me anything. I don't want to know a thing.
It's really true. She said, was she better than me? And I said, no, I don't want to talk about this, but that's fine. But what Betty was saying is very true. The honesty was very important.
Yeah.
And something else as well. And that was, particularly in the beginning, we were separated for a few months each year. Either I went to India or she went to India, or she went to
Europe,
to Europe to visit her parents and so on. So we always gave each other space, as they said. And that was really good for us. Now we have to say that we are both quite sort of strong individual people.
And we were both very, very sexual active in our youth.
In our youth, yeah, those were the days. Yeah, but and of course, being in this tantric community in India, you sat in a circle, and the teacher then says, "Okay,
who do you fancy?
Who do you like?" And you say, "Wow,
this one."
This one,
This
yeah.
one.
Well, she's quite nice. And what do you mean quite nice? Do you want to sort of see if she's interested in you? Well, if you said, "Oh, I'm married,"
everyone would have cracked up and
cracked
thought
up laughing.
You're really stupid.
Yeah. So follow your energy. I mean, this has a negative part as well. I'm not glorifying it, but the idea was really, if it felt right, in the moment, if you're very clear about how far you want to go, that's okay.
But
with consent.
With consent. But the bad part was you were sitting in the circle, and your partner could have been there. So you were both. We never had we never did the groups together. So no, but we knew what was happening because I was doing groups and he was doing groups, and we both knew that the facilitator often not forced but kind of enticed you to go with someone else, and even to bring out the jealousy, or especially if couples were there, because the possessiveness and this, when couples come into sessions, they have each other and they don't separate. And it doesn't matter if they have a good or bad relationship, but it's not about the self. They, come together as a package and feel more secure. So when you were broken up and you saw your partner hugging and kissing another woman, of course it hurts. And you play all sorts of games. But if you tell each other, then you can, you sail through these difficult times. And I think all humans have different partners. And if they live a normal life, they don't tell each other about them, or they think about someone else, but never act it out because they're afraid of the consequences, or they do it in a way that the other partner says, "No, that's enough, I can't do it." So, we try to find a way to make it possible, even with the 2 children we had in all that time.
And quite clearly, if we wouldn't, in our relationship, in our energetic relationship, if we would have said, "If you go off with somebody else, I never want to see you again," we wouldn't have sit here.
No.
It's very clear. Yes. It was very essential for us. And to be honest, once we broke up, and then twice we broke up. Once I messed up, and once she messed up. So we had a separation of a few months, and it's very interesting when you come back together, because we both wanted to come together, obviously. In the beginning, it's very tentative,
you step on eggshells.
You step on eggshells, and then gets closer and closer till the point comes, hallelujah. Wasn't it? We managed that crisis, and our relationship is even stronger now. It's risky. I'm not advised this for everybody, but for us, it worked.
Mm.
And how did you rebuild trust in these situations? What were the keys for you?
To rebuild what?
To rebuild the
Trust.
trust.
Trust. Yeah.
To-
Well, how did we? It took a while. So I confronted Pujan, and I didn't trust him for a while. And he really showed me, that he made a big effort. And yes, and I put my foot down, and I wanted him to commit to a life, because he was the big workshop leader in Tantra, and I was at home with 2 children, And I thought that's the Arschkarte, That's not
Not fair. The German word.
It's a German word. It's yeah, but the first time was very, very, very special, because the guru brought us back together. So in our life, we probably have 3 big named gurus who blessed our relationship,
Marriage. Yeah.
our marriage.
Yeah.
3
Who
big
was
ones.
it? Who was it besides Osho, what we were talking before?
So Osho, we actually had a wedding in America, and Osho
In
came out.
wild country,
Yeah, he blessed us. That
And
was
he
very
came out. It's very unique. Osho was against marriage. He went out of his Rolls Royce, as you see in those videos, stood in front of us, and did this, and everyone was totally high. The second one, we separated. We really wanted to separate. Like, as I said, I wanted to go out. He meditated all the time. I wanted him to be more involved with the children.
So she went off with a Brazilian man to party.
Party, yeah.
I heard about the Jinga of the Brazilian man.
The what? The Jinga?
The Jinga.
What is that?
What's
They have
that?
a specific rhythm through their culture. They have a specific
yeah,
rhythm in their bodies,
yeah.
and they use it
Yeah.
in sexuality as well.
They
It's a
do.
specific experience.
They do.
Yeah,
Yes.
you made love with a Brazilian before? Okay, so you're talking about
It's true.
Of course.
It's true, I second it.
Okay, well, that's good to know. That's good to know. Yeah. So yeah, it was Papaji who brought us then together.
You probably have heard of Papaji.
Yeah, of course.
Papaji, yeah.
And we went there before all the big names, before Muji and Gangaji, and we were quite at the beginning there. And we met in India actually to discuss what we do with the children, who gets them when, and how we do our lives. We said, well, that's it. And then I said, but I heard of this new guru, Osho was dead, and I want to see him. And Pujan said, me too. And then he said, well, let's go together. We both had partners at the time.
Mhm.
He had a meditative woman who stayed with him in Pune and Paris. I had the Brazilian who stayed with me, his kids and my kids in Australia. So I had all kids instead.
But to say how the trust was built again is when you decide to come together again, you had all the freedom to actually go separate ways. But when you both look in and say, okay, no, this relationship, I want this to continue, you come, of course, already with a very open heart, tentative, but whether you really know that she is the one, or or
You
I'm the
knew
one.
for sure. Yeah. Mhm.
Yes. So you come with a very strong, even stronger commitment.
Mhm.
And to overstep, to make a mistake is human, and if you, particularly in the 20s and 30s, if you go off with somebody else, I mean, so what? We can all make this mistake.
Yeah.
But it's how do we come together again?
Mm.
So it really makes it stronger
But coming back to what you just shared, so then you met in India, you went to that guru. What happened then?
Okay, so at the guru, instead of Pujan, who is the big meditator, it was a very auspicious and very a privilege to be there, if you could say, to be in the presence of someone on that caliber. And I was asked into the guru's bedroom at the time, not Pujan, it was me. And he worked with us. So I asked for Pujan to come in, and we ended up in tears and crying, and he wanted to marry us. And then we looked at each other and we said, look, we have 2 children. We have these partners. It's so silly to throw that away. Let's and we fell in love again. Right from the beginning.
Wow.
We both had different partners and we really fell in love again.
Yes, but through the facilitation of Babaji.
Yes. Yes.
Papaji, yeah.
Yes.
Well, yes.
I mean, of course, he triggered this, but of course it was already there. But it was magic, you know. So I just want to say that even though we're together for so long, it's not one path that goes higher and higher. You do have your
peaks and valleys.
Peaks and valleys. It is how you manage the valleys that makes the relationship strong. Yeah? The peak, it's easy, but how do you deal with the valleys? And in every relationship, there are valleys. I mean, here are 2 different universes, you might say, you know, without being too spiritual, with different conditioning, and then it's, of course, there's a man and there's a woman. There's Venus and Mars. I mean, it is quite something for these 2 universes to stay together. But one thing I think we can both agree: the longer you are together, the more relaxed, the easier it is, and the more rewarding it is. I mean, just the fact that you can trust somebody with all you have, you can trust that person in every aspect, sexually, of course, but financially, you know. And from a supporting act, you know that person will always be there for you. This is invaluable. This is the most precious thing in life. Yeah.
And even sexually, you also have valleys and peaks, you know. People always think, oh, you're a tantric couple. Do you make tantric sex every day?
Yes.
Of course. Twice. So there are times where we would do that. There were years where we would make love every morning in a tantric way to raise the energy and then go off an hour a day.
Can you please explain that, like, for people who don't know what you mean by this? What is that? What does it mean to make love in a tantric way?
Now here we go.
Give me an example, a picture, a feeling.
Well, I would do it matter of fact. He would do it in the spiritual way.
Well, you start matter of fact then.
Okay, so what you do is you wake up and you do have intercourse, but without having sex. So you're inside each other, feel each other, raise the energy, find that the Kundalini energy is rising without the expectation to orgasm or have a climax. And then when you're up and alive, you say, good morning, dear. And you go off and make the coffee and have a shower. So now it's your explanation.
Okay. It is, from a practical point, yes, an ejaculation control. I am not in favor of it anymore to the extent that I was then, because
he never ejaculated.
That was the thing to do. Don't do it, you know. Yeah. Of course, it had some advantages, but okay. But this is another subject we can talk on the festival. We can talk about it. But it is more a practice. It is not this unconscious passion that I feel horny. Do you go? Yeah. No, it is like, okay, we wake up, we look into other, okay, now let's energetically be together. And because I had strong Kundalini rising anyway, and I worked with that energy, it was very easy when we were together to raise the energy and be quite ecstatic. But that ecstasy is not an orgasm, and not a physical orgasm. It's the Mahamudra, the inner orgasm. And then we were together, yeah, like Betty was saying, felt very satisfying, very loving too, because mostly we were sitting in Yap Yam, that is she on my lap. So we were actually looking at each other and holding each other, and what a great way to wake up, And then, yeah, like she said, okay, that's it. Okay, good morning. I make breakfast, So yeah, it was in one way quite earthy, because we are, I'm not a New Age person, we are both Virgos, so we are quite earthy, but it was definitely very loving and very ecstatic too. We felt,
and we never ever hid the sexual energy, nor that we had other partners from our children.
Yeah, that's true.
From a very early age, they knew.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they got traumatized.
No, I don't.
I don't think so.
No.
Both of them are healthy, sexual, active adults. But sometimes they felt ashamed that their parents made love if they had a friend over and we wouldn't come for breakfast, and they had to explain it when they were young. And very, very embarrassing for our children was when I was naked on television at 11 at night on Australian, what was national television.
Yeah.
And some kids at school would have seen it, which they shouldn't. And and they said, your parents are weird, this kind of thing. Apart from that, they were open with it.
Because we were open with that.
Yeah.
And it was not that we pushed it, we advertised it or anything. It was just a natural thing, Particularly when let's just be clear. We had a few loose rules. One was that let's don't have partners while the other person is there physically as well. Sometimes we try to follow that. When the other is there as well. So most of the time it happens when one of us was not there, either in Europe or India, because like as we said before, we were separated for 2 months or so, or 3 months sometimes, there was long separations. So then that would have been the best thing. The second one was be really honest about it. Don't make, tell me about it.
And tell the other person. So even if we had other partners, if I would have a lover, I would say, look, I'm married, I have an open relationship, it's fine, but I won't leave my husband.
And the third was
just to create like super clear container, like in your relationship as well as with the lover.
Yes. And the third one was use a condom, so that was the protection.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So not to fall pregnant by another.
Yeah, or to get any diseases from another.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And then after our second child, my second child, I had a vasectomy. So at least the pregnancy part wasn't there anymore. So that helped.
That helped a lot. And thank you for it.
Yeah, that helped a lot.
No, I totally understand. Yeah. Wow, thank you for sharing all this. Amazing.
So, yeah.
I would just love to come back to one of my first questions at the beginning. What would be your, let's say, 3 core keys to rebuild trust when like something happens like this in other relationships and they're not really prepared, and I fall in love with someone else, or I'm sexually with someone else, and then we're not really trained to deal with this.
Okay. Now, first of all, when you're together with somebody and the honeymoon is sort of over, because where I live on Koh Phangan, it's an island in Thailand where there's a lot of young people there.
And they always find their soulmate.
Yeah. They want to have an open relationship after a week, you know? So
3 months.
3 months, well, maybe 3 months. This doesn't work. We only opened up our relationship after years of
7 years.
7 years, when our relationship was firm and deep.
We had a very solid base.
We had a very solid. Without a solid base, forget about it.
No, that's what I see as well.
Yeah. So and I counsel many people about this. Forget about it. Then don't pretend you're in a relationship. So you have a very strong foundation. And wait a minute. Now I forgot the question.
The keys to rebuild trust, actually. It's like when trust is broken in a relationship, what would be the 3 keys for you? Yeah. What you can give others as tools.
Yeah. Okay, so I can say you can first to build a really strong foundation within your relationship. Secondly, be really honesty is the key.
Yeah,
honesty is the key, and honest about the sexuality as well. Yeah, you know, maybe you get bored with a partner because you can.
Or maybe you don't want tantra anymore. You just want to fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
So being honest, or you want it a certain way. Yeah. For example, I can say this. Betty once had this wish for sort of how do you call it? So for fancy stuff, you know, like dressing up and act play.
Yeah. Like a play party.
Fetish, you know, like. And I'm boring, you know. I don't like to dress up or using handcuffs or something like that, you know. But that's me, you know. But this is just sort of the exploration of it and share, you know? Share what you want. So being really honest about it is very important. And then being honest too, if you fancy somebody, you know, if you you know, we always, she says, oh, this man, you know, he's hot. Yes, I said, yeah, he's cool. And I can point out some women I really like. And she said, yeah, that's, you know. So be honest, because we're humans. Be natural and honest.
Just more in a playful way as well.
In a playful
way without hurting. But if there is another person involved, and I know that maybe for a month or so, this person outside the relationship will ring or come about, either bring them all together and really clear the situation and the boundaries that each person, and usually the person outside the relationship, will later leave. Except we had one relationship with another person for 4 years. 4 years it lasted. Manuela, yeah.
Yeah, that was.
But there was.
We can mention this. This is quite interesting.
This is interesting, but that's a different story. So that went over continents and places, from Koh Phangan to Switzerland to Australia to, and there was a continuation. It started, she asked me for permission to sleep with my husband. That was the start. And I said, yeah, as long as I'm the first woman, sure, you know. And she only.
Isn't she great? I mean,
I really liked her. She was very, very good. I liked to live with her because she was really good to have around. But yeah, after 4 years or so, it kind of fizzled out. It didn't. Each person had what they wanted out of it, I guess, and usually a relationship with three uh ends for one person not so well. Most of my experience. And it's sad if you are the third or you only fancy someone and you only sleep with that person, even though if there is in a relationship and you actually want to be with that person alone. In many instances like that, I found, yeah, the third one is the fifth wheel, if you want to say.
Yeah.
And I don't know about polygamy. I have no idea. I can't say about it. I don't have the experience of having multiple partners, the same ones, for many years,
Besides Manuela, what you just mentioned, there was.
Well, that was a very unique experience, and I must say, till even now, I'm really amazed by her openness to the whole situation. Yeah, we were in a threesome, you might say.
But we never had sex.
We had never had sex for three, but yeah.
Okay.
No, I was together with two women, and the two women they were staying with me, or we were traveling and all of that. And she was much younger, as it often the case. But then it ended after a few years, and it was good like that. But the acceptance of Betty about that was, I'm still in awe of that.
And when we traveled together, they always thought we both were her parents.
Yeah, of course.
And we stayed in hotels and everywhere, and because she looked a little bit like me,
was our daughter.
Our daughter.
Anyway.
But you were not sexually engaged with her, Betty. Only Pujan.
No. She was very asexual. Totally asexual.
It's a longer story. Actually.
Yeah. No, I just wonder, because this would be then polyamorous, right? What people.
Yes, exactly. It wasn't in that case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't polyamorous. No.
But yeah, I'm really impressed how you managed all this. Even having another person involved in your relationship with so many years.
Yeah.
I mean,
and we were also honest. She was honest. I was honest.
And you see the pointers that we were saying, honesty and very clear about your intentions and all that, was with the three of us as well. Yeah. I mean, the essence is the same. If there's some clarity and realness about it.
Yeah, I would love to put one question as an end question. So what would you recommend singles or couples who are new to Tantra? Like, how can they start their Tantric path or their Tantric lovemaking path?
Well, Betty?
I would suggest first self-exploration. So definitely do a feminine embodiment, accepting your body, or accepting the same sex without being, homosexual or lesbian, and being at ease with that. So when you are in ease with your sexuality, that's a good point to start in a tantric sexuality, because you are ready. You just don't close your eyes and lie on your back, but you are ready to explore something. Now, it's difficult to have tantric sex with someone who has no clue about it or doesn't know what it is. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes when we started, it was very difficult to find literature or other people who could tell you what to do. I mean, it's not just having the wow orgasm and thinking that's tantric sex because my partner could withhold the ejaculation for a really long time. That's not what it is. But some people think so. And the third ingredients, I would say, to be relaxed with it. If it doesn't happen, not to force it. Not to say, no, now we have to sit in yap yum, otherwise we won't have tantric sex. I think it's a big turn off.
Very, very good. The relaxation within your own body, that is probably even the need is probably even stronger with women, but with men it's exactly the same. Sort of being relaxed within yourself. This is how it starts, you know. And when I say relaxed, it's and embracing it, you know, your imperfection. Can you stand in front of a mirror naked and say, okay, that's me? You know, I mean, I'm not saying don't try to do more sport or lose weight or so, but right now, are you okay with who you are? And then I would add, be playful. Don't be serious about this. Laugh about it. You know, because if you try to be serious in tantra, it doesn't work. You know, it's and so be playful and serious. Be playful, and it just laugh about it. See what works, what not works. For some couples, a particular way works. For other couples, another way works. It's not serious, and we're all beginners in this. You know, we're not experts. You know? So and deal with the obstacles each one has. For example, men challenge is not to ejaculate too fast. You know, it's a huge challenge, particularly for young men. For women, it's what Betty said, the acceptance of her body, of her sexuality, of maybe some guilt or around the whole thing. You know,
of letting the other see you. I mean, so often sex is done without looking at each other's genitals or in the dark or you know, of course, women like it really, really slow. And this is nice. And some men don't have the patience. Some men come too fast. Accepting all these insufficiencies, but when the acceptance is there, they can more easily be overcome, and you can move into tantra.
I just want to add one more thing that in my teaching came up a lot for men in particular. It is really good if the man knows that a sexual encounter will happen, that there's no games about it.
Maybe.
No, maybe not.
So that there's clarity. It will happen or it will not happen.
We actually be very clear, you know. Today, you know, we'll have a tantric session. So there's a relaxation from I'm talking as a man now, as a young man. There will be a sexual encounter. I don't have to go into game playing here.
Yes.
So there's a relaxation in it. So to summarize it, relax, enjoy, have fun, be conscious.
All right. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. So the invitation is, if you want to start practicing tantric sex, that you reconnect with your innocence, with your curiosity and your playfulness, so that you can overcome any kind of guilt or shames or performance issues, and just come together as teenagers and start to explore and to play again more. And this is our invitation. And with this, I would love to end the podcast for today. Thank you so much for your beautiful sharings, Betty and Pujan. It was so amazing to have you here, to listen to you. And if any one of the people who are listening to that podcast want to learn more about the two of you or about my work, please find some more infos in the captions. Thank you.